Hello everybody, today I'm going to be reviewing Outlaw King. Outlaw King is directed by David Mackenzie, who has also directed the 2016 Oscar-nominated film Hell or High Water, which I've heard is fantastic. I haven't actually seen it, but I got really excited for this film. I heard that it had a really good trailer, so I checked out the trailer. I really liked it. And then I heard about the Rotten Tomatoes score for this film, and I heard it wasn't very good. It was about a 50%, and my expectations really dropped to the lowest of lows. I thought it was going to be a bad movie when I watched it, and then I watched it and I thought it was actually pretty good, and today I'm going to be reviewing it. So starting off with my review, the action in this movie is amazing. There's not any shaky cam in this movie. There's handheld at the most. There's handheld, which also looks really good. There's no shaky cam used at all, which I was really just happy with. The shots are mostly still and they look really great. The action just really impressed me in this movie. There is a whole lot of gore in this film, which I really enjoyed. I really love the gore in this film. It made it feel much more authentic and real and, just gritty, and I love that. And it made it much more enjoyable while having, some scenes had much more of an impact because of the gore. Even though you are gonna offend some people, the gore was definitely worth it. The movie overall is also really beautiful. The cinematography is really well done, even though I have a slight issue with the camera work, which I will talk about later. Overall, the cinematography was also really good. Also, the costuming and the sets were really just amazing. You had some real locations there, you had some sets. It just looked really good overall, and the costuming felt very authentic to the time. I'm not an expert on old Scottish time, so I don't really know if it is realistic, but what I'm saying is it definitely felt very realistic. And that's the whole point. You have to go for that feeling of authenticity, and you don't really have to have it 100% authentic, but you just really have to make it feel authentic, and I think the movie's costuming definitely did that, and the sets also did that in this movie. I also just really loved the main character of this movie. I think Chris Pine played him very well. He did an amazing job with the acting. The acting overall in this movie is really solid. Our main protagonist also gets a new wife during his journey because it's a political thing. I really love the wife character because she seemed very real and authentic, and she just seemed very interesting overall. And I really liked the relationship between Chris Pine and the wife. I don't know the actor's name, so I'm sorry, I'm not bothered to look it up. But the wife was really good, Chris Pine was really good, and I just love their relationship. In this movie, it felt very authentic. Now, our protagonist also had a little daughter that really made the movie a lot more emotional. She made some certain scenes more emotional. Some of the scenes that they tried to make emotional in this movie weren't as emotional as they should have been, but the scenes that they tried to make emotional because of the daughter and the wife were definitely effective. So those are my main positives about this movie. I do have quite a few negatives. Starting off with the music, I thought the music in this movie was pretty bland. It was pretty typical. I think they had the chance to really do something more special that would have engaged the audience a bit more, and they really failed to do that. The music was really disappointing in this movie. I wish they had something better. It felt like they used temp music, which is kind of disappointing, but I wish the music was just a little better and a little more impactful and a little more interesting. Also, the issue that I was talking about relating to the cinematography earlier was that there's several scenes where the zooming in is just really awkward. It zooms and then stops zooming and then zooms again and then stops zooming. It kind of just felt a child was in control of the camera, just really wanting to zoom a lot. And it kind of was distracting that they just kept on zooming in, and it was annoying. My other complaint was most of the side characters in this movie just didn't feel right. They just didn't have an emotional connection. I just forgot all of their names except this dude called Douglas, which was just way too over the top. But the only real characters that in this movie I cared about were the main three family members, the main character, the daughter of the main character, and the wife of the main character. And these three characters really held the movie together. I really enjoyed the three of them just struggling in the situation and how they reacted to things, and I had emotional connection to them, but I didn't have an emotional connection to any other person in this movie, and I thought that was pretty sad. Also, there are some scenes in this movie that feel a bit too long, making it feel a bit too slow paced. A slow pace was definitely necessary for what they were trying to do in this film, but I thought it was just a bit too slow paced and some scenes just dragged on a bit too much. And overall, 5 to 7 minutes of this movie could have really been cut out and made the movie a little more tightly paced and just a better pacing for the movie overall. Even though the movie did require a slow pacing, the pacing was still a bit too slow. Now, there are certain death scenes in this movie that it's obvious that there's gonna be death scenes. It is a war movie. So there's certain death scenes in this movie, and they really you could tell that the director wants some emotional impact on the audience, but you don't really get it. Like, you don't really care because the side characters are kind of just lame. You don't really care about anyone in this movie except for our 3 main characters, and that just really makes it weird because there's death scenes that are supposed to be there's supposed to be important deaths in this movie that you just really don't care about because you don't care about those characters that just died. But you know, you care about the family, and the family are just really the only people in this movie that you care about. Sorry I keep on saying that point, it's just that was the main point I was disappointed about this film, was the lack of sympathy that I cared about most of the side characters. So guys, I'm gonna give Outlaw King a 3 out of 5 stars. Yes, that is a 3 out of 5 stars. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I really appreciate you guys watching my videos. If you want to, you can hit the like button. They'll make me feel happy, but if you don't, I don't care that much. But yeah, guys.